So what do you think of when I explain a drink that's perfectly balanced between sweetness, acidity and bitterness, is super complex and has amazing texture? I could easily be talking about an incredible coffee, but this also applies to a great Negroni. And it turns out these two things work ridiculously well together. So over the next 3 videos, I'm going to be showing you 3 coffee Negroni twists, which are totally different, but equally delicious. And if you love coffee, if you love Negronis, make sure you subscribe so you can be notified as soon as the next videos are out. Let's make some coffee cocktails. Welcome back to the Coffee and Cocktail channel. My name is Dan Fellows, and just like lots of other people in the coffee and bar industries, I love a Negroni. It's one of my favourite cocktails in the world. It could be said that there's a certain irony that we spend all day trying to make coffee with as little bitterness as possible, then we go to the pub and we smash a load of Negronis after work. But yeah, I've done it, I'm sure you've done it, so let's not worry about that. So this channel isn't really about deep diving too much into the history of cocktails, but I do think it's really interesting to see how drinks develop over time. So the Negroni has a very simple family history, starting with a cocktail called a Milano Torino, which is made with equal parts Campari from Milan or Milano and sweet vermouth from Turin or Torino, hence Milano Torino. So when you take this and lengthen it with soda water, it becomes an Americano. And when a customer ordered an Americano with gin instead of soda water, which I've got time for, then the Negroni was born. So the classic Negroni is equal parts gin, Campari, sweet vermouth with a twist of orange, and this makes an incredible base for us to riff upon and create twists. So the Boulevardier would be a great example of this, which switches out gin for bourbon. But over the next 3 videos, I'm going to show you 3 really different drinks which use coffee in very different ways to make even more interesting, vibrant, and developing drinks. So each of the drinks will use coffee which is specifically chosen to either tie into the character of the cocktail, either building on top of what's already there in terms of flavour and characteristics, or to provide a contrast to fill in the sort of flavour gaps. So the first drink which we're going to make today is a very simple improved coffee Negroni, where I'm using Coffee Saccharum to add another layer of complexity and flavour to the classic Negroni formula. The second drink plays upon one of my favourite Negroni riffs, the white Negroni, and this uses an entire flat white to clarify the drink, giving us a really kind of silky, smooth, clarified cocktail called a flat white Negroni, which, yeah, I'm quite proud of the name. And if you thought that was cheesy, the third drink is an even worse pun, and this is called the Americano squared. So we're taking the classic Americano cocktail, which obviously is a precursor to the Negroni, Americano, the coffee drink, and then we're going to bring the two together, combine those really different flavour characteristics, and create a drink that kind of develops over time and weaves between different flavours. So the first drink we're going to make is the Improved Coffee Negroni. And this kind of sticks to the traditional equal parts formula of a Negroni, adding coffee to bring another layer of sort of complexity and character to the flavour. We're going to be building this in a mixing glass, but you can actually make this straight into the glass you're serving in, stir it down, but I like to do it this way. So first up, you want to go 25 ml of dry gin. And when you choose a gin, you want to make sure you choose something that's got plenty of body, plenty of intensity, and lots of that kind of juniper-forward character, because we're putting it against very big ingredients. So this comes from Colwith Farm Distillery. It's made from potato vodka that's then infused with botanicals. So loads of kind of creamy texture, lots of big flavors, bit of a citrus note. And then that just gives it plenty of guts to the Negroni. Again, 25 ml of Campari, which I'm sure people have tried before. People either love it or hate it, but I love it. So Campari is a bittersweet aperitif. Got loads of citrus character again, but more on the sweet side and the kind of bittersweet notes. Got lots of different botanicals and herbs and spices in there, and it does have that kind of real bitterness that is characteristic of a Negroni. If you don't like super bitter things, you can use Aperol in place of the Campari, and it's kind of like the little sibling of Campari. So less intense, less bitter, and just is a little bit softer around the edges. So 25 ml of that, 25 ml of sweet vermouth. I'm going for Cocchi Storico, which has a really nice thick texture. Again, lots of botanicals, lots of herbs, brings loads of complexity and kind of earthiness to the drink. And then finally, 25 mils of Coffee Saccharum. So Coffee Saccharum is made in the link in the description if you want to do this in full. But to summarize, what I've done is found ground coffee that's been extracted, infused this equal parts into a sugar, and for this I've gone with golden castor sugar, quite light, quite delicate, and I'll explain why in a minute. Pull out all those oils. I've added filter coffee of the same coffee, and then vodka, just to keep it light, keep it kind of refreshing. So the coffee itself, in the Coffee Saccharum, is from my friends at Bailey's Coffee Roasters. It's Buku Sayisa, and it's a washed Ethiopian heirloom variety. So kind of a lot of information. Washed is the process of the coffee. So when the beans are picked from the tree, the fruit's removed, you get lots of vibrancy, lots of clarity, a very clean cup, and tends to be a little bit more acidic and vibrant. When I said the next thing, Ethiopia, again, very characterful coffee, is the home of coffee. And then the third thing I said, heirloom variety, is kind of a mix of different varieties, but this sort of coffee inherently has lots of character, lots of acidity and brightness. And when you're adding coffee to cocktails, there's two real ways of doing this. You can either build on top of the flavors and characters that are already in the drink, or you can completely contrast them. Think about the spectrum of flavor, what's in the drink you've got, and then what's missing. And that's the approach we've taken here. So a Negroni doesn't have any direct acidity in terms of lemon juice, lime juice, grapefruit juice, although it can work quite nicely with that. But the Coffee Saccharum brings that kind of citrus note, real brightness and vibrancy to an otherwise heavy, bittersweet drink. So 25 ml, 25 ml, 25 ml, 25 ml, 100 ml in total. I tend to add salt to most big, dominant, very kind of intense coffee cocktails at 1 gram of the saline solution to 100 grams of undiluted liquid. So we've got 100 grams or 100 mils of liquid here. I'm gonna add 1 gram of my saline solution. And this is made really simply 1 part salt to 5 parts boiling water. And I use this in loads of recipes and I'll use it more today, but essentially it just harmonizes all those big flavors together, bridges them, and also kind of takes the edge off the perceived bitterness of the drink. So it does lots of good things. So we want to stir this down with ice, which I will have in my hand in a second. And we're back, there it is. We're gonna give this a good stir down. So we want to add some dilution, probably not too much dilution, because this drink does want to be quite intense, quite bold, but we do want to chill it right down and just take the edge off that intensity. So the reason for stirring this like this is we, A, can control the dilution. We get nice fresh ice that we serve the drink upon. And I think it's really important when you serve a drink that's designed to be cold. It truly is very, very cold. So I'm gonna grab myself a frozen glass. And I'm also able to use this big ice block, which we can see here, of frozen clear ice. So when we pour this over the top, you get that really nice, satisfying clarity in the drink. Looks amazing. And I like to garnish this with a flamed orange peel. Obviously the traditional recipe is just a regular orange peel, but I find flaming it just gives it a little bit more intensity, a little bit more caramelization, and it looks pretty cool. So you just want to warm that up. And then around the rim of the glass, that can go straight in. So there we have the Improved Coffee Negroni. And this is super simple to make. You can also use your favorite coffee liqueur or filter coffee in place of the coffee, Saccharum, but I really do recommend the Saccharum if you've got it. So, cheers. Oh, that was a strange sound. Oh, that's so good. So this is very much a Negroni with coffee on top. So, I know that sounds silly, but you've still got those really big bittersweet flavor notes of a Negroni. All of the ingredients we know and love are very much still there, just with another layer on top with the coffee coming through. The salt and the coffee almost bring like a salted caramel character as well, which is really nice, but like a really bitter, almost like a burnt caramel from the bitterness from the other ingredients. Very herbaceous, word I love. Lots of kind of citrus in there. And the Coffee Saccharum, although it is sweet, also has an element of vibrancy and acidity, which really complements everything in there. It's a delicious drink. So stay tuned, stay subscribed for the next few videos. In the next video, I'm going to be making a flat white Negroni, and then the following video will be an Americano squared. So here we have the improved Coffee Negroni, and I look forward to seeing you in the next videos. Cheers.